Hello everyone, and welcome to my unboxing video. What I have on the counter is a brand new Pew Pew from CZ. I was doing some research into CZ and Beretta because I wanted a new range Pew Pew, and I wanted something that was an all-metal 9mm, and I was comparing the Beretta with what CZ had to offer, and I ultimately chose CZ over Beretta. This was on sale, it was a good deal, so I figured, hey, might as well snatch it up. So without further ado, let's see what's in this box here. This is the CZ75B model. I chose this model with the safety over the model with the decocker and over the SP1 and the Beretta. I was looking at the Beretta 92 series, but ultimately went with the CZ. This was a good deal, and I really was actually preferring the CZ because it's different than anything else I had, and the design is a little bit different. I'm not a big fan of the decocker, and I didn't want the safety up here. I kind of wanted it more like a 1911, and that's what this is. It's similar to a 1911 in weight and grip and function and form, but it also has its own unique characteristics. And I'm going to go over some of those. So this is a really cool firearm. I'll say that right off the bat. When you pick it up and feel it in your hand, it feels really ergonomic. The little plastic grip here, this little indentation, wow, it fits perfectly to your hand. And like on a 1911, there's no grip texture here, but it's also smooth on the back. There's no texturing at all. And the only texturing is on their scales here, and these can be changed just like with a 1911. These are plastic, but I'll probably be going for laminate wood ones or G10. The action is single action or double action or DASA, whichever way you want to look at it, right? So like this, you have the really long, hard double action trigger pull. Then you can have the single action when it's cocked. Really unique, but it gives you a chance to do some practicing that you can't do with where you just, have to reset it each time. So it's different. I don't have anything that's DASA like this. Let's go over some of the specs for the CZ75B here. It's about 8 inches long, 5 inches tall, weighs 34 ounces unloaded with the empty 16-round magazine. That's all metal, of course. You see here that it is a hammer-fired pistol with the safety, not the decocker. The controls are very similar to a 1911 without the grip safety. It is a little bit smaller than a full-size 5-inch. It's a 4.6-inch barrel, but if it was 5-inch, I still think it would be cool, especially because of this flat area here. You could actually put some serrations on it, which I've seen customized. There is a lot of customization you can do this besides changing the scales. There's entire parts kits that you can get for it. So these are pretty cool, and they are really reliable, and they've had a lot of use. It's been around since 1975. So this is a great design. I really like it so far. There are a few flaws that are hard to overlook though. The slide serrations really are pretty hard to use because of how you see the slide on the top is so small and thin compared to here. You see how it fits into the lower part of the frame here? That's different, right? So that's how you have the really low bore axis, is because of the way that it fits into here. But the problem with that is it gives you such a small area for the slide serrations that it really is, they are extremely hard to use because you have such a little amount of space to use them on because of the controls. So the serrations are as big as they can be for what the space allows it, right? Because it's not going to be any more. They could maybe put them on the front here. Not really here, I would say, because if you look, it's not completely flat. There's a ridge, you see, so you run your finger over it. This is a unique design. I was looking at the parts internally. It's way unique. I really like the different design features. I really like taking them apart and see all the different form and function, compare it to the other ones that I have. This one, way more complicated looking than some of the others for sure, and the striker fired, pistols. The sights on it, now originally when I was looking at them, I was like, man, look at how tiny they are. But with that really low bore axis, they're actually really nice because the way that the ergonomics are, it's extremely ergonomically friendly and pointable. I noticed that more than anything, even better than a 1911. The beaver tail here and having no grip texturing and being all metal, I'm a big fan. I was thinking, you know, because I have the Springfield Armory Emissary, it's got the checkering. I really like that, but I really like it just no finger grooves, no checkering. And the way that it's cut here is different than on a 1911. The angle here is different, and how the machined it is different. I don't really know what, I was curious what this is for. I'm still curious. It's like to put it on something and rest something, like it's got to have some kind of tactical use. You can kind of rack it from the front, but it's kind of hard. And when you pull it back, it does expose kind of some, they're not sharp, but it's definitely not smooth. So you got to be weary of that. You can get night sights and stuff for it, but I don't know if I'll do that because this is just probably a range gun for me. That's what I got it for. I wanted something that's like a 1911, but in 9mm, because I couldn't do that. I couldn't get a 1911 in 9mm. I won't do that. So I'll just do this instead. Cheaper bullets, more fun to shoot, right? It's going to be big and heavy. It's going to be a great target shooting gun. That's what I got it for. It's extremely high quality. It's got a lot of history behind it. The trigger is going to take some getting used to for sure because of the double single action trigger. So it's completely empty. Now you see it's going to be in single action, which is just barely pulling at all. But then the double action is really long and heavy. So first the single. So it does even still have some take up. So you can do this all day long. And then once you get to the wall, it doesn't take a lot of pressure. And then see how long the reset is to the double action. Now with the double action trigger, you've got to pull extremely hard. And how far forward the trigger is too. I have small hands. So how far forward the trigger is in double action is actually kind of hard for me to get my digit to be honest. Same with the magazine release button. Like my thumb is touching it, but I can't really push it down much. I kind of have to turn it like a 1911 and do this. So the controls on the safety and here I can get to no problem, but the trigger when it's in the double action position, it's way far forward for my hand. And so like my finger is like extended all the way, and then how hard you got to pull, it's actually kind of hard for me to do. So the double action trigger pull is really long and really hard, but this is a great way to practice too. And then with the magazine changes, you can mix that in too. But all in all, for $500 plus tax and shipping and the transfer fee, I'll take it. What a great deal for an all metal pistol. Lots of upgrades that you can do with this. The guys at the gun store were telling me about Cajun Gun Works because they were really stoked. All of them made a comment like, "Oh yeah, that's a nice one," because they see a lot of the polymer stuff and people are getting the M&Ps. They're probably tired of those, right? So this is something a little different. The guy actually that was helping me asked me if he could dry fire it in single action. I said, of course. So the safety on here is better than a 1911. Absolutely better. The amount of pressure that it takes to turn it on is not much, but to turn it off is even less. It is so smooth. You hear that audible click? Now do that with your 1911s. This is way smoother. The controls here are easier to take down too than a 1911, I would say. You line up the little notch here, so they kind of take the guesswork out of it, and you're supposed to use the magazine and the base plate to push out the slide lever stop on the other side here. But I used actually a rubber mallet because it is in there really tight. So it is kind of hard to line it up, but you have to do with both hands. So maybe it's not as easy for you. Now, if you notice on the front here on a 1911, you'll have to move the piece to the side, and then that's where the spring is. Well, the spring is right here. And then it's like a 1911 GI guide rod where it's just a little piece of plastic. And when you take it down, there's a big piece of spring that was kind of like bowed out. And I was like, oh, it's just like a 1911 in that regard. So it does have like a GI guide rod system essentially to it. The front of it is just a little different. This is where the spring fits in. You can actually push here, you see, and so you see how the slide goes back. It's really weird how it fits into the grooves here. So it's different than any other pistol that I've had, and I can't wait to go and debut it at the range today. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. They did give me like a little coupon too to like show me how to take it apart and clean it and everything like that. So I may have to take them up on that offer. But I'm looking forward to it. This is what I chose over the Beretta because of the cost and the features. Very similar to a 1911, form, function, shape, design, very similar. But it's not, exact replica, and it's not exactly like the Browning High Power either, but similar. So looking forward to the range time today with it, and then I'll be giving a follow-up video here probably in the next month or so after I've taken it to the range a handful of times. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.